Alright guys, the time is now for a showdown between the Warriors of Chaos led by Archaon, the Sometimes Chosen, and the Dinosaurs who are going to be led by Kroq-Gar atop his mighty steed. So without further ado, let's jump right into this match and have some fun. So up here in the Vanguard area, I do have three groups of the Marauder Horsemasters. They definitely give you some pretty good pressure against the big dinosaurs. They have 37 missile damage, and one of the main reasons I really like to bring them as opposed to the throwing axes in this matchup. Now yes, the throwing axes are going to have better armor piercing against the big dinos, but because of Skink Chiefs. So often, and it's a tactic I've used in the past, you just get the double Skink Chief. If Chaos doesn't bring like a true dedicated, anti-air force like the Marauder Horsemasters, the two Skink Chiefs can essentially just sit on your Lord for the entire game, and it pretty much guarantees you're going to lose your Lord or at least take a massive amount of damage. So these guys are excellent at hunting Skink Chiefs. Unfortunately, my opponent did not go that direction. However, they're still going to do some pretty good damage against like some of these big dinosaurs like the Saurus Scarvet or Kroq-Gar. Definitely, can still give a bit of a punch here. So returning some fire to these Chameleon Skinks as well. The Chameleons will be a little bit better in the exchange though, because they do of course have really, really good missile resist. If you guys can see here, they got 40%, which is quite fat. So that's my Vanguard squad up here. And guys, we're going to be trying something very alternative, I guess you could say. We do have Archaon, the Never Chosen, or Sometimes Chosen. He's got the Flaming Skull, which is pretty good against like Saurus Warriors, Flaming Sword of Ruin, as well as Fireball, which isn't bad. It's a little bit weak against like big armored dinosaurs, but it still gives you some nice utility. If they have like a Skink Chief caster like up in the air, just kind of sitting idle, you can do a ton of damage. So we do have the Fireball, and Archaon's going to be riding dirty with these Swords of Chaos. Now these guys, they have good armor piercing, right? So, I mean, on paper, they might be able to be okay against dinosaurs with their combat stats. Plus, they give Archaon the Guardian ability. But if I had to just say objectively, like looking at them, I don't think they're the best in the dino matchup, especially for the 1800 you're paying. But they look really cool. We're going for those style points, and we're going to see how they do. We do have a big boy Shaggoth here to help with the dinosaurs. Frontline just going to be Chaos Warriors. Chaos Warriors will trade well with Saurus and anything below that. They will lose to Temple Guard, but again, they'll put up a good fight, and hopefully they'll have some support with the Shaggoth and Archaon. So in the back, we do have an Aspiring Champion Goon Squad here. These guys are going to be providing encouragement, just giving us a little bit more punch in the front line. So pretty fun little army here. It's definitely a little bit of a deviation from like what is actually really competitive against lizards, but maybe, Swords of Chaos and Archaon are going to do some heavy lifting. We'll see. So, Chameleon Skinks up here in the front line for my opponent, definitely pretty good for counter skirmishing, poking Chagas, things like that. He does have the Saurus Scarvet plus the Kroq-Gar, so really he was expecting Kolek and another Shaggoth, right? So he wanted to go fisticuffs and probably use the Skinks to overwatch. His entire front line is going to be the Temple Guards, which I think is a pretty good choice because most Chaos players just bring Chaos Warriors. Now, had I brought like two Chosen in the front line, they would have, with great weapons, they would have just massacred this front line of Temple Guard. So, I've been seeing this quite a bit, and if I had to say like just a topical adjustment, maybe just get like three Chaos Warriors with the Swords and Shields and get like two Chosen with great weapons, and you can mulch through a front line like this easily. But guys, without further ado, let's see how the Sometimes Chosen does. Right now, just advancing, pulling back my Shaggoths, playing super conservative. I don't really want to play into his skirmish game with the Chameleon Skinks and those shenanigans here. So taking some pretty heavy fire though. Chaos Warriors getting in there. It looks like there's going to be a Flock of Doom overcasted going down. Not going to do a whole lot of damage against my Chaos Warriors. They're pretty stalwart folk. I also do have the Crown of Domination with Archaon, so I was partially thinking that I'm going to park him in the middle of my army, which then gives my entire army immunity to not entire army, but nearby troops immunity to psychology, which is pretty cool. I wanted to get a rear charge here, but Temple Guard, of course, you have charge defense, they have armor piercing, anti-large, so it's not like the best target. I was hoping for some Saurus or stuff to charge down with those guys. But the frontline engagement's underway. The Chaos Warriors are going to be slamming into the Temple Guard here. It's going to be a pretty ugly matchup for my guys, but these Marauder champs trying to get some throwing axes here. You can see they get some decent shots here at the big T-Rex. But the Saurus Scarvet's going to be fighting my T-Rex. I figured I had some supporting elements. I do use the Flaming Sword of Ruin to give all these guys extra weapon damage, putting them up to 43, which is really good. And check out the damage we're doing to that guy. In the meantime, this is what you guys are here for. The Swords of Chaos just charging in, balls deep into the front line. So now these guys are fighting. They're obviously not braced. Swords of Chaos do have really good AP, so they can definitely do some work. And that is a really scary Chaos formation. Aspiring Champions, Chaos Warriors, these Swords of Chaos, Archaon in there as well. And look how hard these Temple Guard are actually getting mulched down with that charge. That ended up working out pretty well. We're getting a good trade on this front. We're getting some throwing spears here at the Saurus Scarvet, burning him down relatively quickly, but Kroq-Gar is able to peel off, and he's going to re-engage, forcing a 2v1 situation, and Archaon doesn't have the mass to get there, and a really good Flock of Doom going down for my opponent there. He's able to do huge damage, hitting a ton of my stuff. But I would say a relatively even trade so far. I have formed a flank denial with my Chaos Warriors, who are going to lose pretty badly to those Temple Guard. But here and here it's going okay because of the support of the Swords of Chaos, Archaon, also keeping all of these guys from getting terror routed. So my Shaggoth is still fighting. Problem is the dinos have cold blood, so they have ways of healing up. You can see his big boy back here was able to heal up like a ton of HP with the cold blood. So very, very good stuff there. But we're just going to switch our Overwatch fire onto the Kroq-Gar. Front line, you can see Archaon and the Swords of Chaos are still fighting in here, lending their aid to the Chaos Warriors in the front. We're obviously fighting a bit of a losing battle. But right now I have a good situation. Historic Scarvet's a little bit over-engaged. The Swords of Chaos are going to pile in. They do have really good AP as well. So hopefully we can do some good damage to Krokgar. Swords of Chaos have a bit of a surround. Krokgar is getting rear attacked. He does pop the Sacred Spawning of Zodal, so really well played to my opponent timing that for the physical resist. The Swords of Chaos, yeah, they just do fire damage. But yeah, we're burning down Krokgar pretty well here. My Shaggoth is very low, which is unfortunate. My opponent with some really good focus fire here in the back from the Chameleon Skinks. I think, you know, this is definitely a trap here because he has 2 beat up dinosaurs, right? Like, I'm doing pretty good right now. Archaon's in good shape. The Flaming Sword's online. The Temple Guard are losing this entire part of the flank. They are winning over here. And against these Chaos Warriors, yeah, definitely pretty one-sided affair there. I have lost one group of my Marauder Horsemasters from some focus fire from my opponent's Skinks over there, so very, very good Overwatch. And basically right now I'm just mirroring his Saurus Scarvets, just kind of following them, and this is where I make a bit of a mistake. I actually push Archaon in, thinking the Swords of Chaos were with him, like, fully, but I charge him in and only, like, 3 of the Swords of Chaos are able to push through the front line, and now I'm in a 2v1 situation. So this is going to be a big turning point right here, where you can see Archaon starting to get whooped on. However, he's putting up a good fight, considering. I mean, Archaon had some of the better combat stats in the game, like really, really powerful melee attack and melee defense. Also pushed the Shaggoth through, realizing this is kind of like make or break here. I really need to burn him down. Yeah, throwing spears or Marauder Horsemasters in the back, still sitting and kind of shooting. Swords of Chaos, unfortunately, getting a little bit out of position. They couldn't get through the mass wall of Temple Guard here. A little bit ugly in that respect. And also I'm about to lose my Shaggoth, so the Shaggoth does go down to the big T-Rexes. Archaon is able to escape, but at a great cost. I basically had to sacrifice the Shaggoth, hoping that Archaon could then escape and rally my troops. But the Cold Blood healing, definitely paying its dues. And that's kind of the thing about Archaon, the mass. Not having the mass like get where he wants. I mean, that's just normal for Horse Lords, right? I mean, the Crown of Domination has been really good. And perhaps if I had been a little bit more cautious and not overextended, I would be in decent shape. But we're doing an okay job burning down the dinosaurs. The front line was pretty much a win here, actually. We were beating down the Temple Guard with cheaper troops using these Swords of Chaos, but eventually his big dinosaurs were just able to really take out my Shaggoth, and there wasn't a whole... my Shaggoth, and I wasn't able to do a whole lot there. Hand of the Gods, a really good shot here on Archaon. Archaon's going to respond with Fireball. So Fireball, 3,300 HP. Let's see how much damage it does. And yeah, about 500 damage. Now, that is not bad. Even though it says it's weak against armor, that is definitely worth the Winds of Magic, getting a sweet 500 damage in there against a big target. Right here, we get a Burning Skull, just trying to get this bunched up group of Temple Guard. Now, Burning Skull is very, very weak against armor, so it's not the best, but he's usually something you want to bring just in case they go very Saurus heavy, because there's a bunch of different strategies the dinos can do against Warriors of Chaos. But nonetheless, yeah, Archaon's still kind of rolling in the back. He's rolling deep with his Marauder Horsemasters, trying to find an opportunity. But the fact that I now can't support my front line with the Swords of Chaos, who basically just got chased off by Skinks, they're just not good, unfortunately. The Swords of Chaos just kind of suck. Like, I've been trying to make them work in a bunch of matchups, but just like they're low model count, like they're really expensive. They're not even like super impactful. I mean, what is their weapon strength? Like 50 something? I think it's like 50. I mean, regular Chaos Knights like have like 40 something, right? And they come in groups of like massive pockets of like 45 or 60. I can't remember off the top of my head. The Guardian isn't that important either. I mean, it's just 18%, and they have to be positioned with your Lord, so they can't go do other things. So yeah, a bit of a failed experiment, but it was still fun to try to see how the Swords of Chaos would do, as well as Archaon. Archaon could be made to work, but again, he's always going to be less competitive than Kolek, as well as the Pigeon King. The Pigeon King, has Final Transmutation. He has high mass. He's really durable against missile attacks. He can just cause a ton of disruption in your opponent's formation. But yeah, Kolek, can basically go fisticuffs with Krokgar. He is Lord of the Storm. He causes terror. He's just so much better than Archaon, unfortunately. But Archaon, again, can be made to work. I think the big blunder in this build were the Swords of Chaos. They just basically did nothing. I mean, they had a decent couple charges, but they were just, basically 1,800 gold being given to my opponent for very little return. I think cutting the Swords of Chaos plus the Aspiring Champions would give us like 2,200 gold. Then we could get some Chosen with Great Opens and some Halberds. The Chosen with Great Opens would have just mulched through the Temple Guard. And then the extra group of halberds would have been able to really help against the dinosaurs. Even if we wanted to go Archaon, we could have done that and played more defensively and just used him for the anti-terror and like supporting in the front line. That's where I think he would shine. So yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys have had experiences with the Swords of Chaos, or if you have replays where you find them to be pretty efficient. I would love to see those and cast those games like against players that you would say are of equal skill or high level players. That's where I would really like to see them shine, because I remember in Total War Warhammer 1, they were such a good unit. Like, there was something about them that they just were really impactful. They really tore stuff up. But here they just feel a little bit limp, unfortunately. But I think the Marauder Horsemasters, low kill count, but they did a ton of damage. They really paid their dues against the big dinosaurs. They took down Krokgar, the Saurus Scarvet, got him low multiple times. They also keep your opponent's Skink Chiefs honest. And if he does want to go with Flying Casters, then it really punishes that. So I think they're solid. So you go 3 Chaos Warriors. So let's actually just go and we can go and kind of mulch around with the build here. So let's go ahead and look here. Custom battle, and we will go to the Warriors of Chaos. So even if you wanted to use Archaon, for example, right? So, and just use him as like a combat lord, you could get the Fireball, Flaming Sword's pretty good, Cascading Fire Cloak. These ones are probably like the safest here. Slayer of Kings is okay, but we're going to be using more cheaply and just trying to use him as a support lord. So you just get 2 of these. You can even get the Mirror Guard because they would be really good in the front line, and just get 2 Chaos Warriors here. And that'll win the front line against the Dinos almost every time. Like 2 Chosen with Great Weapons will annihilate Temple Guard. So you just go kind of that route. You get a couple of the Marauder Horsemasters right here, and on top of that, a very defensive Shaggoth, right? So you can kind of like sit a little bit defensively, just keep him back. Or if you want, you could even go a different route and just cut the Shaggoth and get like more Halberds and just play like really turtly. The only problem here is you don't have too many things like Chase Down Skinks, which are really annoying. So you could cut one of those and get like a couple of Hounds. Now this is like an Archaon build. This is by no means a competitive build against the dinosaurs. This is something that could be made to work and might be more efficient just based on what we saw, and also while still trying to make Archaon a decent pick here. So he's going to sit here, he's going to make the Chosen, everyone immune to Psychology. When the dinosaurs come in and try and goon Archaon, you then counterattack with the Shaggoth, you're chasing Skinks with the Warhounds and getting Overwatch Fire with the Marauders. And of course, use the last 54 gold to distribute to your other troops here. So it was super well played to my opponent, who I believe his name was Willie Toledo. It was a really fun game, super well played by him. He had some really good timing, some really good traps. So it was a beautifully played game on his part for sure. So thanks again for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed this Chaos match, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.